Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com tonight, what family member victims in the Uvalde mass shooting have to say about the criminal indictments. And the Texas Supreme Court bans transition-related care for minors. Plus, we take you to Ireland with evening anchor Don Brubaker as we continue discovering Dublin.
On the outside, warming humid conditions, temperature 82 degrees. Not a tropical depression anymore. A barrel has formed in the Atlantic Ocean, traveling down with a tropical storm. Where's it expected to go? We'll cover it in the forecast.
The Generals, winners of 6 of their last 7 ball games, trying to stay hot tonight at Riverside. That's in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker is in Ireland. A 53-year-old woman who was riding a bike to work killed in a hit and run involving an 18-wheeler in North Houston this morning. Witnesses called 911 when police said the truck did not stop after hitting the man. Fire crews and paramedics responded to the scene, but he was ultimately pronounced dead. We turn now to a major story, new accountability for the school shooting in Uvalde.
This morning, the first criminal charges against law enforcement for what is widely viewed as a botched police response to the massacre at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, more than 2 years ago, which left 19 children and 2 teachers dead.
I think it's a really strong message, not just to the community of Uvalde, but any law enforcement officer, that you cannot hide behind immunity, that there's something called consequences.
A grand jury now indicting former school district police chief Pete Arredondo. Another former officer also reportedly indicted. Victims' families reacting with mixed emotions.
But there are still 374 other officers that did nothing while our children died, and they're getting to walk scot-free as of right now.
Investigators found children inside Robb Elementary waited more than 1 hour for help from police, despite frantic 911 calls during the shooter's rampage. Surveillance video shows dozens of heavily armed and shielded officers crowding the halls outside the classroom, finally taking down the shooter 77 minutes after the carnage began. An official tells ABC News former Chief Arredondo, one of the first officers to arrive on the scene, now faces 10 charges of child endangerment. He surrendered last night and was released on $10,000 bond. Arredondo has said he never considered himself the scene incident commander and had said officers prioritized evacuating the children over taking down the attacker. But the Justice Department finding law enforcement did not follow generally accepted practices in an active shooter situation.
Most of the families tell me that they have not gotten any word or any feeling that more people could be indicted. But again, they are meeting with the district attorney to figure out what the next few steps will be over the next few months here.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News.
In Park, New Mexico, a tragic discovery along the Rio Grande has shaken the community. Multiple bodies were found in the river near the Texas state line. Sunland Park Fire Department responded to a distress call from Border Patrol on Tuesday evening. Now, despite efforts to rescue 5 people, only 1 was pulled out alive. The fire chief reported a challenging recovery operation due to the obstacles, including wire placed along the river. This incident marks a stark increase in desert recoveries due to the extreme heat. And now let's take a look at your forecast with meteorologist Trey Mining in for Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
All right, yes. Good evening, everyone. 92 degrees is the feel-like temperature, 82 degrees the actual air temperature when you add the humidity factor in, and a little breeze coming in southeast 11 miles per hour. And for us here, let's take a look at the review of the day. 93 degrees was the daytime high, and low 78 degrees, which is pretty much near normal, exactly normal for a normal high. 102 back in 2013 was the record on this date. I remember that heat wave. But for us here, keeping it hot for us here, and also we now have Tropical Storm Beryl in the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, we do. Where's it going? Where we think it's going to go? We'll find out a little bit later on in the full forecast. Karina?
Trey, thank you. The Texas Supreme Court ruled Friday to allow the state's ban on nearly all gender-affirming care for minors to remain in effect. The law bars Texas healthcare providers from providing gender transition surgery or prescribing puberty blockers to those under 18. Healthcare providers who offer such care would have their licenses revoked.
Children don't have the ability to appreciate the risk of some of the decisions that they might make.
Jonathan Covey with Texas Value says about 24 other states have passed similar laws. Despite numerous protests at the state capitol, the conservative advocacy group says if the state can't get involved in these circumstances, it can't legitimately get involved in any family issues.
Parents have a fundamental right to raise their children as they see fit. That's a sacred right. However, it isn't without limits. The state has the ability to protect children in situations that will clearly jeopardize their health and safety.
Today's ruling is no surprise to many of those who fought the legislation to ban transition-related care for minors.
We're very disappointed, obviously, because it allows the harm and the suffering that the trans healthcare ban has already caused to continue across the state.
Ash Hall with the ACLU of Texas says they won't back down until trans youth and their families are no longer under attack by state lawmakers and can get the health care they deserve.
Families are still going to have to make really hard decisions about either trying to seek this health care for their children elsewhere or potentially moving out of the state.
Friday's decision impacts Texas, but a similar Tennessee law is set to be reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court. That decision will have a nationwide impact and is expected by this time next summer. So here is your viewer poll. The question is, do you agree with the Texas Supreme Court's decision regarding Senate Bill 14? Yes, no, or not sure. According to our results, it looks like 76% stand at yes, the remaining 23% voted no, and 1% stand at not sure. Thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. Now, there's a greater risk of wildfires in the U.S. right now. The National Fire Center bumped up its national preparedness level to 3. Normally at this time of year, it's at a 2 out of 5. The alert is nationwide, though the greatest wildfire risk is in the West Coast, and the Great Plains. The NIFC has moved more resources to areas of active wildfires. That means response time could be longer if fires break out in other regions. Now, if you're traveling today, you are not alone. The Transportation Security Administration expects to screen more than 3 million passengers. If that happens, it would make it the busiest travel day ever, surpassing the previous record set Sunday with 2.99 million individuals screened. The Independence Day holiday started Thursday and lasts through Monday, July 8th. TSA expects to screen 32 million people during that time frame. That's a 5.4% increase over the past year Independence Day holiday travel week. And 25 News Now anchor Dawn Brubaker is in Ireland, and this week we're showcasing Discovering Dublin with Dawn, and here's what he saw Friday.
Greetings from Ireland. We are here in Galway with Linda Halapaska. Boy, we had a fun day.
We certainly have.
I'll tell you what,
Great.
Let's talk about what's going on. Now, first, we traveled west this morning to Clonmacnoise, a ruined monastery nestled along the banks of the River Shannon. This ancient site, with its remains of 9 churches, a round tower, and high Celtic crosses, was long a major center of religion and education, attracting scholars from all over Europe. Then we experienced authentic Irish hospitality at Connolly's Rathbone Farm, where we watched sheep graze the fields as the fragrance of home-baked goods and a peat fire fill the air. We visited with our hosts in their charming thatched cottage while sampling freshly baked scones and a pot of Irish tea. Tell me about this day, Linda. How great was this?
It was wonderful. The weather is cool and it rains off and on, but it is wonderful. It's cool. The scenery, absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. Just need to come back.
Thank you, Linda, and we continue our journey through Ireland tomorrow. Reporting from Galway, Ireland, Dawn Brubaker, KABU TV 25 News Now.
Don, thank you. Now, if you have not seen episode 1, Let's Grow Texas Ag, a great program on the state of agriculture in the Crossroads area, you can catch it this Saturday on 3 Victoria Television Group stations. It's going to be on KAVU Saturday, June 29th at 5 p.m., KVCT Saturday, June 29th at 4 p.m., and KXTS Saturday, June 29th at 11:30 a.m. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. It's now a day after the first presidential debate. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, why voters find themselves in a bind. Also ahead, the Supreme Court weighs in on ticketing the homeless. A day after the first presidential debate of the 2024 presidential election, Democrats find themselves in a bind. President Joe Biden delivered a lackluster performance, and now they are in damage control mode.
When you get knocked down, you get back up.
President Joe Biden in North Carolina attempting a major reset after his debate against former President Donald Trump. One Democratic lawmaker telling CNN Biden's performance was a disaster.
I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth.
On the campaign trail, the president fiery in his attacks against his rival.
Donald Trump will destroy our democracy. I will defend it.
A stark contrast from Biden's showing at CNN's presidential debate, which has sent Biden's advisors scrambling behind the scenes to calm Democratic panic after moments like this.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
Donald Trump seizing on Biden's struggles.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
even as he made multiple false claims and hedged yet again when asked directly if he would accept the results of this year's election.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud.
I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner.
But those moments overshadowed by Biden's shaky demeanor and delivery. Midway through the debate, aides explaining his hoarse voice was the result of a cold. Now the campaign facing questions about what comes next for the 81-year-old president.
Are they going to stick by him, or are they going to come with pitchforks?
Despite the slip-ups, many top Democrats defending Biden.
Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. This election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance, and the contrast is clear.
Former President Barack Obama writing, "Bad debate nights happen. Trust me, I know." But this election is still a choice between someone who has fought for ordinary folks his entire life and someone who only cares about himself. But in private, some Democrats less assured, questioning whether Biden should remain at the top of the ticket. Biden's team spent part of the day calling donors and lawmakers trying to ease concerns. One advisor telling CNN, quote, "We are in a dark place, but we're moving forward." That path forward is ultimately up to Biden himself, who so far has shown no signs of backing down.
I give you my word as a Biden, I would not be running again if I didn't believe with all my heart and soul I can do this job.
And politicians are not the only ones taking sides. The New York Times editorial board published an editorial Friday publicly calling for Biden to leave the race for the White House. Now, the Supreme Court says cities can ticket homeless people for sleeping outside. The High Court handed down the ruling Friday, siding with the town of Grants Pass, Oregon, in its camping ordinance. The case has been closely watched by cities across the nation, overwhelmed with a growing homeless population. The justices say the ordinance does not qualify as cruel and unusual punishment under the Constitution's 8th Amendment. And sometimes a common cold can quickly turn into a nasty cough, but it could be more than you think. If you don't get it checked out, you could mistake an old common cold for something else.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, can be serious for adults, especially those over 60. Each year in the U.S., it leads to tens of thousands of hospitalizations and deaths, according to the CDC. In fact, a recent study has found that RSV can be as harmful as COVID-19 and the flu, especially in those not vaccinated against the viruses. The good news, there's a new weapon in our fight against RSV. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved 2 RSV vaccines in 2023, and the CDC recommends those aged 60 and up to get vaccinated. Researchers suggest that getting vaccinated may reduce your chance of getting seriously ill from RSV, meaning less worry about those difficult hospital stays and more time enjoying the things you love. Talk to your healthcare provider about getting the RSV vaccine. It's a simple step toward a healthier season for you and your loved ones. With this Medical Minute, I'm Perry Russum.
A summer COVID-19 surge is here. For weeks, cases have been rising in at least 38 states, specifically in the West and South. That's reports from the CDC. Hospitalizations and deaths are also ticking up. Over the past few months, the variant that drove the winter surge has been overtaken by newer offshoots. The CDC says 2 of these new variants now account for more than half of the infections in the U.S. Meanwhile, a new COVID-19 vaccine could be coming this fall based on these latest strains.
All right, on the outside, we saw a few rain showers earlier today. See right there moving on through with the sea breeze. High pressure to the north. This high pressure is going to be important in steering what will be Beryl, and already is Beryl, from moving our way. Will it have any impact at all on our forecast? We'll take a look coming up. And good evening, everyone. Trey Mining here. The tropics are sure heating up, and let's get right into it. I'll step out of the screen here so you can kind of see what's going on. First of all, the first low pressure area is a weak tropical wave entering the areas near the Yucatan Belize. It has a 40% chance of development as it moves across the land. More than likely it will not get organized at all because it looks like the interaction with the land is going to be a big hindrance to this system. And if it does develop, or if it doesn't develop, it'll move into Mexico more than likely over the weekend. But our attention is turned further to the east, where we now have Tropical Storm Beryl. There it is right there, looking very healthy, very organized, very circular pattern to it. The outflow winds are certainly revolving up and over the thunderstorms at the surface. There's the coordinates if you're tracking on your tracking chart. And it's continuing to more than likely move to the east with time, to the west I should say. And here's the latest forecast track you see right here. Still tropical storm through your day on Saturday, entering the Caribbean Sea, more than likely as a Category 1 hurricane. And this model of run has it up to Category 2 coming up by your Monday in the first part of next week. After this time period, it's a little bit far out in the future to find out exactly where it's going to go. It looks like the model run's having it more toward the areas of Yucatan Peninsula or maybe Central America. High pressure to the north here is kind of protecting us. If it stays there, it'll push the storm to the south. If it weakens a little bit, it may move the low pressure area with the hurricane into the Gulf of Mexico. So it remains to be seen exactly what's going to be happening to this system. We'll keep tabs on it for you, of course, and you can keep tabs on it as well. And we'll keep you informed. In the meantime, the heat's going to be the big issue around here. High today was 94 degrees in Victoria, 100 degrees in San Antonio, and almost that in Houston, and 99 degrees up there in Austin as well. So definitely hot around the entire Lone Star State. Also in Oklahoma, Kansas as well, Louisiana and Arkansas had high temperatures there in the triple digits as well. And this is for tomorrow. This is the heat advisory going to effect at noon tomorrow through all the counties you see here. More than likely our county here down to the coast will be issued in the morning time from the Corpus Christi office. But this means that the heat index value approaching 110 or greater during the afternoon throughout most of the Lone Star State. So please be careful out there. And the heat index with that at that category means it's very dangerous. You need to drink plenty of water, find some shade, and take frequent breaks if you're out there doing any activities during the day. And Port Lavaca, let's kind of bring it on home here. Sunny skies about the day for your day tomorrow. Maybe an isolated rain shower somewhere, primarily, more than likely in the morning time and the early afternoons down in Calhoun County. 93 degrees for the daytime high, triple digit heat index value, of course. At that time, Cuero, about the same as well. Sunny skies, a lot of sunshine, maybe a few clouds here and there, and maybe a pop-up rain shower in your neighborhood there. 95 degrees for the daytime high. And also, moving into our region here, planning forecast for the next several days. Slight rain chances today and tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, with nothing to hamper your plans. Look at the triple digit heat index values throughout the next several days. 105 to 107, even 109 more than likely. A few rain showers again for your Wednesday and Thursday more than likely as well. High temperatures in the 90s. Now that's just the air temperature, not with that's what the thermometer reads when you add the humidity factor in place, well above 100 degrees each day. So know your heat safety tips and use them. Overnight lows in the 70s we see for the next several days as well. We'll keep tabs on the storm for you in Beryl out in the Atlantic Ocean. We'll keep you informed throughout the weekend, well into next week. Take a look at this, by the way. Here you go. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see there on your screen. That'll take you to a web page. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, free of charge to be connected with us with the latest on your news, weather, and sports right at your fingertips. Zach?
Thank you, Trey. The first place Victoria Generals hope to stay in the win column tonight against Acadiana. Highlights coming up in sports. Well, tonight was the second game of the second half of the season. The Generals, walked off on the Acadiana Canecutters last night, trying to keep the momentum going. Yet another win tonight after trailing early 2-0 in this one. We were all tied in the bottom of the fifth inning. Then a bases loaded walk, and the Generals take the 3-2 lead. Then with the bases still loaded, a pass ball is going to allow another runner to come in and score. That Generals lead now doubled. It's now 4-2. But in the top of the sixth, Acadiana has a lead-off double. Some early trouble brewing for the home team, and well, they also had some fielding miscues. They allow a few runners in the inning to score a 3-spot. Just like that, and Acadiana would take a 5-4 lead, but the Generals in the bottom of the sixth put up a 3-spot of their own, and they would promptly bust this one open. The score in this one right now, 13-5, the top of the ninth inning just started, so that score about to be final at Riverside. The Houston Astros, maybe the hottest team in baseball, back to 500 for the first time all year. Jose Altuve did what he does best. On the very first pitch of the game, the ambush attack works and a leadoff homer. He's second all time in Astros history behind Craig Biggio. He still has about 20 more to go to catch the team's other legendary second baseman. But tonight, just not Houston's night. The long ball was a problem, and the Mets stomp Houston 7-2. 7-game winning streak is snapped. The Texas Rangers continue to struggle. Pitcher duel in Baltimore today. Just a total of 3 runs scored. 2 of them went to Baltimore. Final score 2-1. Max Scherzer, though, for Texas was great again. 5 in the third innings, 2 earned runs, but he got no offense to help his cause. A federal judge in California issued a massive judgment against the NFL on Thursday. The league was ordered to pay $4 billion. The class action lawsuit claimed the NFL broke antitrust laws with its NFL Sunday Ticket. That's a television package where subscribers can buy access to games. The plaintiffs argued the league restricted competition and sold the out-of-market sports package at an inflated price. The NFL pledged to contest the decision. The decision wasn't as huge as it could have been. The plaintiffs were seeking $7 billion in damages. And in the NBA, like father, like son, the LA Lakers selected Bronny James in the second round of the NBA draft on Thursday. He's the eldest son of the Lakers star, and he was taken with the 55th overall pick out of USC. That means Bronny will have the chance to play on the same team as his father, who just so happens to be the league's all-time leading scorer, LeBron James. It's something the elder James has been saying he desperately wanted. He even said he'd become a free agent and give up millions of dollars to play for whatever team drafted his son. Bronny James, already in a Lakers uniform. He's going to wear the number 9. The NBA Summer League starts on July 12th. That is it for your sports. Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, Harry Potter fans will want to see this next story. A few pieces of the franchise's art are now for sale. Thursday, the rock star Elton John launched his Rocket Mail resale auction on eBay to raise money for his AIDS Foundation. Fans of the superstar could grab a piece from his wardrobe for as low as $26.60. Fans will also get a chance to buy items from Donatella Versace, Brandy Betsy Johnson, Robin Roberts, and Andy Cohen. Now, a pocket watch owned by former President Teddy Roosevelt has been returned 37 years after it had disappeared. The FBI says Roosevelt's family gave him the timepiece in 1898 before he left for Cuba during the Spanish-American War. After his death in 1919, the watch became the property of Sagamore Hill National Historic Site. The watch vanished from an unlocked case in 1987, but last year the pocket watch actually turned up in a Florida auction house. And the auction house owner verified the watch's authenticity but would not reveal who gave him the watch.
They probably got that in that Rocket Mail resale. Probably what
possibly.
Yeah, and $26 for a piece worn by Elton John is
I would buy that. I've been an Elton
cheap.
John fan my whole life since growing up, and I still have a lot of his music in my collection. So
Oh, yeah?
I would love that.
Okay, cool
Okay,
stuff.
I'm thinking more of Donatella Versace for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, all right. Well, what about this weather? I'll leave that to you.
Hot, and also hot coming up for us, as if you didn't know that already. Where temperature is well into the 90s for the daytime high. An isolated rain shower chance coming up for Saturday and Sunday. And again, Wednesday and Thursday, some of that tropical moisture moves on through. On Independence Day on Thursday, by the way. High temperatures in the 90s each day. That's the air temperature. Keep in mind, add that humidity factor in, feeling like 106 to 108 to 109 throughout the entire Crossroads region during the afternoon especially. Lows in the 70s. Of course, we have Tropical Storm Beryl in the Atlantic Ocean. Looks like it's making its way toward Caribbean Sea area. Coming up by the first of next week on Monday should be in the Caribbean Sea as a hurricane. So we're watching that coming up the next several days.
All righty, thank you, Trey. And the cover art for the first edition of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone just sold for nearly $2 million. The watercolor painting was auctioned for $1.92 million on Wednesday. The piece, or rather the price tag, makes it the most expensive item related to the series. The artist behind the cover, named Thomas Taylor, helped establish Harry Potter's iconic round glasses and lightning bolt scar. And you know, as much as people love Harry Potter, I don't know if I would pay $2 million for a
That's because you ain't got it like that.
But if I did have it like that,
That's what somebody who ain't got it like that, that's what they would say.
if you had $5 million, would you subtract $2 million for that?
And still have $3 million?
Yeah.
Still got most of my money, yeah.
You don't even like Harry
She don't
Potter
know what
like
an
that.
investment is. I never watched it. I just
I
know
would
they had him
probably do
stuck
that.
under the
Yeah?
house.
Who got stuck
Well,
in
he
the
was like
house?
stuck in a little room underneath the house, and they were like really mean to him.
You know what? I'm with you. I don't really know Harry Potter like that.
All right, so she ain't got no room to be talking.
Maybe that's why I don't want to spend
say
$2
is-
million.
I like to say is, oh, Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh, Trey.
There's my impression. That's about all I can do.
All right. Well, thank you, Trey. Thank you, Zach. And thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Don't forget to join the weekend crew for 25 News Now Weekend Edition.